Okay, we're back. We're back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Your turn.
It is.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Power! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute. That's the technically challenged podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I am Tom Lang.
And I'm Bill Evenson, and you join us for minute 48 of All New Thrills, The Ghost of Frankenstein from 1942.
And you know, these last few minutes have not been very thrilling, I have to say.
Oh, they're new at least.
They are new.
They're not replaying old thrills.
That actually might be better.
We did replay some old thrills during the scene where Elsa was reading the diary.
Yep.
We should have. I hope we pointed that out.
All right.
But I what I really want to point out is if you're listening to this as a Patreon, like you should be. It's Thursday, the 18th. I know we joked about your weekend of watching Plan 9 from Outer Space. I don't know if you actually
fully recovered.
Did it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fully recovered.
Well, and that means you're ready to start your new marathon.
Yes.
Because today, of course, is the anniversary of the release of Night Key in 1937, which is a movie that, due to some odd circumstances in horror film in the mid-30s, ends up in books about horror films.
Yeah.
But isn't very horrifying.
It's not. My first exposure to it was on the original Horror Incorporated here in Twin Cities in the 73.
Okay.
And they had smart programmers at KSTP at the time, because they would show like groupings. Mm-hmm. So it was like House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula.
Yeah.
Then I think it was like Night Monster, and then
Night Key.
Night Key.
Really?
Yes. And Night Monster is, okay, it's a lesser one, but it's actually still fairly entertaining.
Yeah.
Night Key, I'm watching it and I'm like, it's not very horror-ish. Yeah, okay, there's Boris Karloff, but that's...
Is he the star of it at least?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen it. Never
Dave
bothered.
Mallory, this dotty old inventor who invents the security system, and these gangsters try to crack it or use to kidnap... You know what?
Sounds
I don't even fucking care.
Sounds fucking fascinating.
No, it's not. Because if you listen to on the Shout Factory, Scream Factory sets of Universal...
Right. I know what you're going to say.
Weaver does the commentary, and he's like, I drew the short straw because Skull, Mank, lists off all these others who refuse to do it.
Yeah.
And conversely, I have a set from Eureka in the UK, and it's like Kim Newman or Jonathan Rigby or and a couple, and their perspective of it is completely different.
Yeah.
And they're looking at it and like they talk about the positives of it, and like, you know what? Yeah, okay, take it on its own. This isn't terrible. Yeah, it doesn't belong in a horror package, maybe, but it is a Karloff movie and it has some elements.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that the two, Weaver, who's grown up with it, as we all have, his entire life.
It was the low point of that.
It was definitely, what happened?
What was that package called?
The Shock.
Shock, but yeah.
Coming in 37 as it did, it's after the horror ban that happened in 36.
Yep.
Dracula's Daughter being one of the last releases in that.
They put out the lesbian movie and then said no more of that.
No more of that. And there are a lot of factors in it. It's usually blamed on England banning this type of film altogether.
Yeah.
And that is a huge contributing factor to it, and it's why it is called what it is.
Yeah.
But there were economic factors here as well. A lot of it was just the Laemmle's losing Universal had a lot to do with it. And the new Universal saying, we're not going to do that anymore.
Right. One of the main factors in having these movies exist at all was Carl Laemmle Jr. just wanting them made.
Absolutely. He got a lot of flack.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't be talking about this if it were not for Carl Laemmle Jr.
It's true. They would have been made by RKO and they would have been terrible. Well, because somebody would have made Dracula and Frankenstein at some point.
I think MGM was looking at it too.
Yeah.
So it might not have been terrible. It actually might have been a better film. But we wouldn't have the cycle that we do.
Yeah, Exactly. And if you're listening to this on Friday, of course, April 19th is the anniversary of the release of Bride of Frankenstein.
It is.
Which has Lord Byron in it, who died.
Who died last week.
No, he died on this day too, in 1824.
Oh, Gavin Gordon died last.
Oh, that was, okay, there you go. The
like
actual
that.
Lord Byron died.
Okay.
Saturday, we'll celebrate the death of Bram Stoker.
We'll celebrate it?
I don't know.
Fucker's dead, yeah!
Why not? And then...
Because it's kind of a lame book.
And we also... We also celebrate the birth of Elena Verdugo.
Oh, well, we love her too.
We do. We love everything about it.
I just saw her in, what was it? It was Universal Channel, which we talked about last week, if that part of the recording survived.
Yes. We'll see.
She was on, it was one of the Inner Sanctum.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, she is just cute as can be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Monday will be the anniversary of the death of Lionel Atwill and the birth of Rondo Hatton. Oh, and
it was quite an eventful day that day.
On next Wednesday is the 50th anniversary of the death of William Alexander Abbott.
Really?
Also known as Bud.
So this minute starts with them all continuing down the steps to the. You're done, right? That was it.
I'm done.
You're done here.
I'm fucking done.
Yeah. Drop the mic. Well, don't do it because it'll probably break.
Yeah, true. Don't literally do it.
Yeah. They all continue down the steps. Everybody has to duck to get down. It's kind of a nice little.
It's a nice little touch. Yeah.
Pretending that there's an actual low ceiling there, that there's not.
Yeah.
Although this film does have ceilings on a lot of the sets.
I hadn't noticed that.
See, and a lot of people don't notice it prior to Citizen Kane.
Right.
Where there was a lot.
Yeah.
Bride of Frankenstein they have ceilings on a lot of the sets.
Sure, yeah.
Maltese Falcon has, almost every set has a ceiling. So
Orson Welles didn't invent anything.
No, he didn't invent shit.
Yeah. I don't think he ever claimed to.
I don't think he claimed to. I think it was just the way he used devices and things like that.
Nobody had ever seen a movie like Citizen Kane when Citizen Kane came out. And
that's
a lot of factors going on. And yeah, there's nothing new.
Nothing new.
This podcast is just a rip-off.
Well, kind of is if you really want to get technical about it.
Yep.
So not Haji beelines to a door on screen right. And opens the door and just goes right on in.
Yep.
Doesn't ask permission. So
fucking A, help yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That's a weird reference I just remembered from... You know how some movies you just watched a lot because you were a teenager and you had it on VHS and you just watch it over
Well, not when I was a teenager, but yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, I was a teenager and one of the movies I watched frequently was Midnight Run, which I still think is a good movie, but it's got some 80s-ness to it.
I saw it once.
Well, I really liked it as a kid, but it's still good. And the character, I can't remember his name, but De Niro's character, I think, puts him in handcuffs, grabs his cigarettes out of his pocket and grabs one, and he says, fucking A, help yourself. Anyway, that's it.
That's it. Long way to go.
Long way to go for that one.
Yeah. Eric cranes his neck looking in, but does not enter.
Yeah.
No one turns the lights on in there either, so it's a dark room. You can see that it's like pitch black.
Yeah.
So this
he's even got a flashlight.
Yeah, Keystone Cop goes in with the light.
Yeah.
So you can see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Ludwig remains slightly on edge here.
Yeah, he's got a sourpuss, is what I read.
Well, to differentiate...
He's like, oh, this sucks. I wish you guys would leave.
To differentiate from the sourpuss he has in other scenes.
In the other scenes, that's true. He had a sourpuss when he was talking to his father.
He had a sourpuss when he's talking to his daughter, who we presume he loves.
He had a sourpuss when Eric came over and he liked him. Now he has a sourpuss when he's mad at him. It's kind of the all-purpose look.
Yeah, it is. It's give me a Hardwick on that one.
It's a give me a Hardwick, so to speak.
Oh,
hey, I'll give you a Hardwick.
Oh, what's that room, Doctor? Asks Eric.
Yeah, what is that room? Well, I'll tell you.
You tell us.
It's an auxiliary operating room maintained at a very low temperature. Don't go in there. It's really cold.
It's cold.
You couldn't put a monster in there. He hates the cold. That's the two things he hates. He hates the fire. Everybody knows about fire, but he also hates the cold, Eric.
You didn't know that.
You didn't know that. What kind of boob are you investigating the monster? You didn't know he doesn't like cold. He's freezing in there. His dead teeth would be chattering.
Keep going?
Yeah, no, I think I ran out like 25 minutes ago.
Last episode.
Last episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, what? Okay, so what is going on here? It's so weird.
Have you been in? Have you had surgery? Have you been in an operating room?
Yeah.
They're usually very cold.
Okay.
To prevent like infection and things like that.
Really?
So that's not an unreasonable thing to have.
Well, what I meant was, what is the auxiliary operating room? How many of these things does he need?
How many operations
It's
you got
like,
going at once?
yeah.
I'll be right back. I got to go finish the one downstairs.
Well, actually,
that could be Bomer's.
Now I think about it, we're going to have 2 operating rooms later in the film.
We are. So maybe this is Bomer's.
This is Bomer's room. Well, that's Bomer's room. Don't go in there. Don't touch anything. He's very particular.
Throughout this whole sequence, there's been no mention of Dr. Bomer whatsoever.
It's weird. Where's Dr. Kettering? Just shut up already about Kettering, okay? This is Bomer.
Yeah.
Talk to Bomer.
Kettering doesn't know shit.
That's right. Kettering's probably hiding the monsters somewhere. You should go look for him.
Meanwhile, Haji...
It's not in use now.
Oh, it's not in use yet.
Yeah. Look, I'm in here. I'm not using it.
Look,
I'm not in there.
It's dark in there. The lights are off.
I'm not in there using it.
Yep. Haji is poking around on the other side of the room.
So you made it sound like he went into the room on the right. Does he then come back?
No, I said not Haji.
You did. Okay, got it. That's what I thought too. Okay, good. Yeah. That works.
So Haji is over here.
He's on the left. He's screen left.
Haji, it sounds like he's like, Indian or something.
Haji? H-A-J-I?
Yeah. It's I should say Hajsi.
I like that better.
Because it's Hajj son.
I'm very treacherous terrain here. I'm not going to say anything.
Why?
I don't know. I'll start doing my Apu voice, and then we'll get
you really
trouble.
get in trouble. Other side of the room, he finds the little stone door.
Yeah, he's actually pushing on the stone in the wall.
Yeah.
He's pushing on one, and then he pushes on
the next one, and it kind of gives a little bit. Yeah,
and he figures out that it's on a gimbal. I don't know.
It's on a fulcrum, on a hinge.
A hinge.
It's hinged,
if you will.
And
he pushes on one end and pulls on the other, and it comes loose.
Yep,
it's
pops
obvious
open,
that
which
it's
we saw.
Trap door.
Well, and we saw Ludwig
do that
earlier. Ludwig
and Bomer.
Bomer opened
That's
it.
That's right, because here's what I have down is
okay.
Once again, it takes 2 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes 2 hands to handle a Whopper,
2 hands to handle a Whopper.
That was a Burger King thing from probably before you were born, I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of their commercials.
It takes 2 hands to handle a Whopper, the 2-fisted burger at Burger King. It takes 2 hands to handle.
And 2 men or 1 Igor, as we saw last time.
Yes. They pull open the big old stone door. Ludwig is starting to look a little nervous at this point.
Yeah, he's decided to go with that.
Yeah, because the other stuff wasn't working.
That wasn't working.
Yeah, it was doing him no favors. So let's try this.
You know this feeling when you're a kid, like when you did something wrong, and your parents came home and you're like, yeah, they're not gonna know. I hid the thing underneath the cushion or whatever, some stupid ass thing you did, and then you just watch them and you that feeling of terror and dread, like, oh my god, I'm getting caught.
Well, I had a perfect example of this.
Okay, was it the cops?
No, it wasn't the cops. It was worse. It was my parents.
Yeah, they found your stash.
They did, because I had a stash of pot.
Yeah.
I didn't keep that in the house.
You were more of a meth guy, yeah.
Yeah, they found my meth. No, they found, I had a stash of some adult material.
Excellent.
Hidden in my room.
Perfect.
And this was junior high, I'm thinking. Came home from school, and they were cleaning my room and had completely rearranged it.
Oof.
And I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting.
For somebody to say something?
Somebody to say something.
You still waiting?
We finished. I'm still waiting. It's never come up once.
Wow.
And I think that was worse.
I bet.
Like at dinner, I'm just like, okay, it's going to come anytime now. It's going to come. Nope, nothing.
When
that night,
they rearranged, did they move it?
Oh, it was gone. It was gone because I looked for it.
They decided you didn't need those.
I guess so. So then I went out and looked through the garbage cans. Nothing in there. Mm-hmm. Looked in my dad's car. Nothing in there. I'm like, well, fucking.
Frantically searching the neighborhood.
Went up and down all the. Hey, did you happen to have a little pile of magazines dropped off by any chance?
I think they were Life magazines, but I'm not sure.
Not sure. Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
And so for days I kept waiting for the hammer to fall, and it never did, which I think was way worse. Was brilliant.
Yeah.
So that the terror of being caught is a very real thing.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is my kids had cameras. They had little cameras for kids. There's just like a little phone thing or whatever,
Sure.
but they were little cameras, and
Like digital?
one kid took a picture, or maybe it was a very short video, and it was a very tiny little video, you could barely make it out, of the other kid pulling his pants down and showing him his butt, and he was so fucking embarrassed. Delete that. It was like, this is adorable. You're 4. This is great. But we deleted it because he wanted to delete it. And I guess I don't
Well,
blame
it's
him.
probably best that you did, because you really wouldn't want to be found
that's true.
possessing that.
Possessing pornography, that's true.
Yeah.
Now I've admitted to having once possessed pornography, which is probably a good enough reason to get us kicked off YouTube.
Okay.
All right, well.
Will you lead us, Doctor?
Me? No, thank you. I'd make a terrible police commissioner.
Yeah, no, Eric asked Eric asked that of Ludwig. And
No, that's what I mean. That's Ludwig's response. Me? No, I'd make a terrible police
will you
commissioner.
lead us? Yeah. Well, I can lead you in prayer. I can...
what he should say is, me? I've never seen that before in my life. Why would I lead you?
I had
don't know
no
what
idea that
is.
was there.
That's new to me.
That must have been here
What am I, the architect? What am I, the builder?
As far as I knew, that was a brick wall.
Yeah, that looked like a brick wall to me. Didn't it look like a brick wall to you, Elsa? Where's Elsa? Elsa!
You guys thought that was a brick wall too, right? When you first came down, yeah?
It's true.
So reluctantly, Ludwig leads them in to the little apartment.
Yeah, there's a little room we've been in before.
Yep.
There's an M on the wall,
Yep.
as we talked about.
Wide shot as they all enter and look around. No Igor
And
or
I
monster.
like this. No Igor the monster. I like what Hardwick does here. He looks around and he does it well. He doesn't do a super dramatic like but he looks to where about he would expect to see Ludwig Igor the monster, and he doesn't see him. So then he kind of looks around a little bit like, well, where the hell is everybody?
Where are they? Yeah.
But he doesn't overplay it at all. It's pretty well done.
There's a close up of the little bed.
Yep. Then
that indicates that's where he's.
Well, that's what I don't like, because he's looking clearly at Eric. He's not looking in the direction of the bed. And then
when there is
so
the
it's like,
cutaway,
all right,
right?
Close enough.
So looks like a fairly small mattress.
Yeah.
So do both Igor and the monster sleep there?
No, Igor has his own room.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. We talked about that.
That's right. Yeah. But in the script,
I can't make any kind of gay joke about.
Oh,
Igor.
See, we're known for our gay jokes. What are you doing, man? You gotta.
Those are what get us nominated for the.
That's true.
Rondo every
if
year.
If you look at the Rondo nomination page, it says
gay,
podcast covering the Universal film, mostly gay jokes.
Known for its gay jokes.
Yeah, in the script, I don't remember exactly, but in the script they mentioned something about it clearly doesn't look like someone has just been sleeping there.
Yeah.
And this movie does the opposite. It is supposed to look like...
Yeah.
We'll cover it more next week. But,
right.
But, I mean, I guess I say that like there's some secret next week. But we're supposed to think someone has been there.
Yes.
There's even an oil lamp that's lit. The room is
lit up as
like
they
nobody
go in.
needs the flashlight for most of this.
Yeah, no, this is brightly lit.
Which is completely unlike the script. All of this plays out in the script under the gaze of Eric's flashlight.
Yeah,
which he has, but you barely even notice it. I didn't even notice it
until you look for it.
Yeah.
And that would have been great.
Yeah.
Very moody, but technically it would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, it would have been harder to do.
And it would have been...
fuck it, let's not do it.
Let's just ignore that.
Let's just film it like a play. Let's film it like Mary Tyler Moore. Get an oil lamp in here.
It's like
and
an old sitcom from the 70s, yeah.
Actually, we're now on season 4. People love to get updates on how far along I am on Mary Tyler Moore. We're now on season 4. And the show is
much
totally,
like we are.
Yeah, exactly. The show has totally hit its stride. There are very few clunkers, although I gotta admit, there are some clunkers. But
you could say that about every single show.
I'm sure that's true. Yeah, that's probably true. Not Faulty Towers. But
okay. Fair enough. Is what, 6, 12, something like that?
There's 12. Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to...
That's why I'm saying don't make any more.
Yeah.
Because you've nailed it. Fuck off.
Yeah, it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You know they're like 5 years apart? That's what I think is hilarious. When you first learn that, you're like, they didn't even show them in order, but it did. I had no idea.
It looks slightly different.
It does. You can tell once you do watch them in order. You can see it. It doesn't look quite the same. It's a different director.
Well, when they came here, they were already done, though. So I saw them all at once.
Right. We had no idea. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what I was saying. It's gone. There you go. Done.
Ludwig looks kind of of relieved, worried, dyspeptic.
He's probably got a...
I'm not entirely
Well, and then you might expect him to have all of these reactions. He should be relieved that the monster's not there, but where the fuck is the monster?
Where the fuck is the monster, right?
Yeah,
and
all
I'm
of that
sure
kind of works.
Dyspeptic, I'm sure this has been a little hard on his nerves.
Yes, I would expect so.
Yeah.
But, it's Ludwig, so he's not going to give us too much.
No, he's not. And the minute ends with Eric spinning around in a
dramatic flourish.
Yep, and he says, "What's?"
Oh yeah, he says Woods.
But
James Woods.
He spins around, and if this were like the opening of a TV show, he would turn around, it would freeze, and his name would be.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. It does kind of have that. All right.
With
and
Ralph Bellamy as Eric.
As Eric Ernst. Town prosecutor Eric Ernst. And that's it. So now...
Got any more questions, wise ass? So now that sound could only mean
one thing. One or two or three things.
I guess so.
So there's a list of things it could mean. But in this case, as you might expect, it means...
No surprise. It means it's time.
It means it's time once again.
God. I think the technical issues last week completely threw us off.
For got any wise ass comments, wise asses. Now what this is it's brought to you by Patreon. If you go to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute, and then you sign up, and then you can
scan the QR code on the episode.
Or scan the QR code on your TV screen if you're watching on YouTube in the big screen where you can just see your graphic.
Yep.
Actually, one time I went over to Robert's house and he had it up on the big screen.
How's it look?
It looks great.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Your graphics are a good, size and
I try to
they work. They work well. They blow up well.
Yeah.
Because I guess the answer to that being they don't actually blow up because they are big to begin with. They actually shrink down. Whatever.
Yes.
What do I know about anything? You scan that QR code and something, right?
Exactly.
All right, good deal. Mike Herman writes, this is the polar opposite of what Rathbone was doing with Atwell and Son.
Exactly.
The Minute might be Hardwick at his most Hardwicky. Total stuffy wimp.
I like that, yes.
That's a good point because I think maybe something we haven't explicitly stated is there is a satisfaction to seeing him sort of we kind of want to see him get a comeuppance.
Yeah, because he's such a...
Him being in this situation and being uncomfortable is something we as an audience tend to want in this case.
Yes, I think...
He's a bad guy.
I think it's like Son of Frankenstein. I think the filmmakers want us to sympathize with him.
Yeah.
You don't.
No.
Same thing with Wolf. I don't think you sympathize much with him. You're supposed to. I personally don't feel any sympathy for him because he does the wrong thing every single time, as is Ludwig here. And Ludwig has a haughty attitude about it, whereas Wolf had sort of an
manic
arrogant. Well, he had an arrogance about him.
Arrogant is an amazingly great word. It's a good segue to what I was going to say, which is that's Frankenstein. That's the story.
Yes.
It's the entire story is based on arrogance.
Arrogance.
That's the whole idea.
I would say more hubris.
Hubris, even better.
Yeah.
And so, in that sense, for me, it all works. And that's one of the things about watching these movies in the opposite way of how we're doing it now. When I used to watch them, they were part of a loop that I would put on in the background. Okay. And then it's a series of guys who are engaging in this great hubris. But you were going to say.
But yes, that is true. But
thank you.
I feel sympathy for Henry.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Henry's a very sympathetic character, I think.
That is where it kind of falls apart in a way.
In both films that he's in, he's sort of...
I think
he was supposed to be the hero, sort of be the protagonist of the first film, and was rapidly eclipsed by Karloff.
Right.
Once the film came out, they changed the promotional materials moving forward.
Yeah.
Prior to it coming out, it was listed as Frankenstein, the Man Who Made a Monster.
Right.
And then it had the cast, like they do on here, and it's Clive, it's Mae Clarke, it's Bowles, then Karloff. After the film came out and all the reviews started pouring in, they changed it to it's starring Boris Karloff.
Yeah, but that's a reflection of Karloff's performance and not the hubris.
No. That's what I'm saying. But the original intent was it's a film about Henry.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't come in until a half hour in. Yeah, right. It's Henry's story. it. And yeah, so now we've gotten to the point, we've gotten down the lineage enough that we're down to, all we've got left is Cedric Hardwicke. So his hubris manifests itself as above boredom, I guess. He doesn't seem bored.
Bored, but it's a close second.
Okay, a total stuff, or if you will, a totally stuffy wimp.
Yes.
Also, Mike writes,
right, okay.
It's a good idea to tell the cops to get a warrant. I just think this is always a good idea.
Yeah. We've been saying that for 3 weeks.
Especially if you're in our county or city, the metro, the Twin Cities. Never mind. We've said enough. We're still on YouTube.
We've said too much.
Too much. It's an even more practical lesson than don't create life in your own image, writes Mike.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah. Absolutely. For an everyday practical purposes, yeah.
Well, especially since when you look at it on the face of it.
Because you could create artificial life and do it properly. I think you could.
That's true. I forget that you have that position. I don't think I subscribe to that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm on the fence. It seems to me the whole point of this. Yeah. No, what? Are you fucking nuts?
I'm not saying in a Frankenstein setting. I think in a real world practical application, yeah, you could.
In a laboratory.
Yeah.
So how's that different? It's the same thing.
You do it under the proper conditions. You do it with peer review.
All right.
You're not just doing it in a dark tower under.
Hey, Waldman was there. You think he's innocent?
No, he's implicit as well.
Yeah. It's about
the production code.
It's about what you're actually trying to do, I think.
Yeah.
I think that part, you and I, that's where you and I have a sticking point. You think this is awesome, and I think you shouldn't do it.
Okay.
But I guess I also haven't really had to worry about it much. The thing is, we're talking about a totally theoretical thing.
Absolutely.
I wish Frankenstein was real, but it ain't.
I'm just saying that there could be some useful practical applications for it.
Actually, I just saw
that could benefit humanity.
That they have,
which is I think is Henry's original stance.
I just saw something about they just had a successful artificial pig liver transplant into a human or something like that. An artificially grown pig liver or kidney, or maybe it was a kidney. I
remember seeing something.
So like we're obviously getting to the point where we can grow organs and yeah. Let's grow some organs. Organ growth.
See if you grow them all, then put them together, then bring it to life.
Then how's that different? Yeah.
Well,
all right.
I'm
on your side.
So
now.
I'm saying this artificial kidney was beneficial, right? It saved somebody's life.
I guess.
So this research, this following this path, can be good. It just hasn't been in these stories.
All right. On a similar note, these aren't in order. Why is it not in order?
I don't know.
Will Hohenstein writes, I can't hear this music without thinking of Lon Chaney Jr. wiping away his muddy paw prints. I'm not even sure I know what you mean.
Wolfman.
Oh, okay.
It's some of it is.
I thought he was saying it's interesting that they don't find any footprints in this.
Oh well, yeah.
In this room. Okay,
no, but I think some of the music is recycled.
It's recycled. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Good. Somebody pointed that out. We're not good about the music all the time.
I'm not. Yeah, when
I hear
not a scholar about it, but yeah, when I hear it, it's funny because watching things like Mystery Science Theater 3001 season showed several episodes of the Phantom Creeps serial with Lugosi.
And those use
the goofiest looking robot you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And it uses, not just Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein. I mean, he uses cues from all of these. And to see them in a different context like that, it's like the Flash Gordon serials too.
Yep.
Use a lot of that music. Bride of Frankenstein is very distinctive.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's the one I hear all the time is Bride. But yeah.
But this soundtrack has a little bit of Wolfman in it.
I believe it does.
Okay. Felicity writes, that first stone moved like it was really light. Someone didn't do their how to act like something is heavy classes.
It hasn't through the whole film because when Ludwig and Bomer came down, it didn't look particularly heavy either.
Interesting.
So maybe it's not a real stone.
Right, in real life, or in movie logic.
Within the parameters of the story.
Yeah, it's a fake.
It's a fake stone. Maybe. I don't know. That's the only way.
We'll go with it.
Okay. Because if that was a real stone, even if it were perfectly balanced on that hinge, there would be some heft to it.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't. It probably should seem a little heavier.
A little heavier than it does. Yeah.
All right, and then I think that's it. And what do we got? 9 years?
It feels like it anyway.
What did we get? Are we good?
Unless you have we only got 2 more to do. So if you have,
well, I don't want to. Yeah, all right. Maybe I could do this.
We can do one more.
See if this works. If you load it enough times, maybe it'll actually work. Oh, here we go. I think this is new to us. if I did this one already, I'm sorry.
We'll cut it
but this
out.
looks all new to me.
It's all new thrills.
It's all new thrills every week for us. Dr. Alex Zorka writes on the Classic Horror Film Board, okay, just to clear up some confusion, the late Richard Vallee published, edited, and sometimes wrote for the publication Scarlet Street magazine. Okay.
I have a bunch, yeah.
I sometimes wrote for the magazine and had a lot of fun jousting with him and writer Ken Hankey, among others like Mark Clark, etc., on the Scarlet Street website. We did not always get along on various topics, but until he got me in the middle of a war between himself and writer Tom Weaver, I never had any serious issues with him. The argument between us on Ludwig Frankenstein being the older son or not was all in fun. I thought you two guys knew who Richard Vallee was.
Now that you say that,
really?
Now that he says that, yeah, I do. I do kind of remember that name, and I don't remember this war that he's talking about because I don't think I was reading either the magazine or the website anymore at that point, but putting it in that context, it does make sense.
Well, he goes on, he says, Classic Images is a film newspaper for film collectors and historians, has been around for over half a century.
Yep.
He said, I think it started as 8mm film collector, and then it became Classic, whatever. Over 40 years ago, I wrote an occasional film column for them, and then I took over a column about animation called Frame by Frame for a while. He said, I thought one of you two would have heard of the publication, so apparently he mentioned it, and we didn't, what's funny is, I don't think I had heard of it, but I have since, because one of the Rondo Award nominations was Tom Weaver wrote, they have the best article, and he wrote an article for Classic Images that came out in December, and the title of the article, best I can tell, is The Ghost of Frankenstein. And when you go to their website, and the picture is this.
Oh, sure.
So it's like, I want to get my hands on this thing.
By this you mean the poster that's used on the cover of the Magic Image film book.
Yep. So I'm anxious to get a hold of a copy. I emailed them because I looked online and people were like, how do you get one of these? Because nobody seems to answer anything. And it's like, well, you just got to email them.
Okay.
So I sent an email, and we'll see if
let me know, because if you can get it, get a couple, because I would like one as well.
Good.
I know of it. Yes, I know that, and I probably have sort of stumbled through that in his messages.
Yeah.
And I'm sure amongst all this crap, there's probably several issues here. Yeah.
Some articles written by him.
Yeah.
I think your questions about the morality, etc., of Dr. Kettering given new life in the monster's skull is a question that comes up later in conversation when the brain transfer and operation is about to be performed or is just completed, if I am not mistaken. Well, that's interesting. We'll have to look for that.
It does, but I mean, we're not wrong in discussing it when it's first mooted as well.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's always weird to do these comments where weeks ago we talked about something.
We will revisit that. Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
And probably in greater detail.
Probably. All right. That's it.
Okay, then.
Now we're out of comments. We're gonna next week we're just you and me talking about
the rest of these films. We got nothing, or just next week.
Maybe for the rest of time. I don't know.
Okay.
It takes two hands to handle a Whopper, the two-fisted burger at Burger King. It takes two hands to handle a Whopper, the two-fisted burger at Burger King. You gotta put it down to drink your shake.